On July 11, 1804, in one of the most famous duels in American history, Vice President Aaron Burr fatally shoots his longtime political antagonist, Alexander Hamilton. Hamilton, a leading Federalist and the chief architect of America's political economy, died the following day. Alexander Hamilton, born on the Caribbean island of Nevis, came to the American colonies in 1773 as a poor immigrant. There is some controversy as to the year of his birth, but it was either 1755 or 1757. In 1776, he joined the Continental Army in the American Revolution, and his relentless energy and remarkable intelligence brought him to the attention of General George Washington, who took him on as an aide. 10 years later, Hamilton served as a delegate to the Constitutional Convention, and he led the fight to win ratification of the final document, which created the kind of strong, centralized government that he favored. In 1789, he was appointed the first Secretary of the Treasury by President Washington, and during the next 6 years, he crafted a sophisticated monetary policy that saved the young U.S. government from collapse. With the emergence of political parties, Hamilton was regarded as a leader of the Federalists. Aaron Burr, born into a prestigious New Jersey family in 1756, was also intellectually gifted, and he graduated from the College of New Jersey, later Princeton, at the age of 17. He joined the Continental Army in 1775 and distinguished himself during the Patriot attack on Quebec. A masterful politician, he was elected to the New York State Assembly in 1784 and later served as state attorney. In 1790, he defeated Alexander Hamilton's father-in-law in a race for the U.S. Senate. Hamilton came to detest Burr, whom he regarded as a dangerous opportunist, and he often spoke ill of him. When Burr joined Thomas Jefferson's Democratic-Republican ticket, the forerunner of the Democratic Party, as vice president in the 1796 election, Hamilton launched a series of public attacks against Burr, stating, "I feel it is a religious duty to oppose his career." John Adams won the presidency, and in 1797, Burr left the Senate and returned to the state assembly. In the 2000 election, Jefferson and Burr became running mates again. Burr aided the Democratic-Republican ticket by publishing a confidential document that Hamilton had written criticizing his fellow Federalist president, John Adams. This caused a rift in the Federalists and helped Jefferson and Burr win the election with 73 electoral votes each. Under the electoral procedure then prevailing, president and vice president were not voted for separately. The candidate who received the most votes was elected president, and the second in line, vice president. The vote then went to the House of Representatives. What at first seemed but an electoral technicality, handing Jefferson victory over his running mate, developed into a major constitutional crisis when Federalists in the lame duck Congress threw their support behind Burr. After a remarkable 35 tie votes, a small group of Federalists changed sides and voted in Jefferson's favor. Alexander Hamilton, who had supported Jefferson as the lesser of two evils, was instrumental in breaking the deadlock. Burr became vice president, but Jefferson grew apart from him, and he did not support Burr's renomination to a second term in 1804. That year, a faction of New York Federalists, who had found their fortunes drastically diminished after the ascendance of Jefferson, sought to enlist the disgruntled Burr into their party and elect him governor. Hamilton campaigned against Burr with great fervor, and Burr lost the Federalist nomination and then, running as an independent for governor, the election. In the campaign, Burr's character was savagely attacked by Hamilton and others, and after the election, he resolved to restore his reputation by challenging Hamilton to a duel, or an affair of honor, as they were known. Affairs of honor were commonplace in America at the time, and the complex rules governing them usually led to an honorable resolution before any actual firing of weapons. In fact, the outspoken Hamilton had been involved in several affairs of honor in his life, and he had resolved most of them peaceably. No such recourse was found with Burr, however, and on July 11, 1804, the enemies met at 7 a.m. at the dueling grounds near Weehawken, New Jersey. It was the same spot where Hamilton's son had died defending his father's honor in 1801. There are conflicting accounts of what happened next. According to Hamilton's second, his assistant and witness in the duel, Hamilton decided the duel was morally wrong and deliberately fired into the air. Burr's second claimed that Hamilton fired at Burr and missed. What happened next is agreed upon. Burr shot Hamilton in the stomach, and the bullet lodged next to his spine. Hamilton was taken back to New York, and he died the following afternoon. Few affairs of honor actually resulted in deaths, and the nation was outraged by the killing of a man as eminent as Alexander Hamilton. Charged with murder, Burr, still vice president, returned to Washington, D.C., where he finished his term immune from prosecution. In 1805, Burr, thoroughly discredited, concocted a plot with James Wilkinson, commander of the U.S. Army, to seize the Louisiana Territory and establish an independent empire, which Burr presumably would lead. He contacted the British government and unsuccessfully pleaded for assistance in the scheme. Later, when border trouble with Spanish Mexico heated up, Burr and Wilkinson conspired to seize territory in Spanish America for the same purpose. In the fall of 1806, Burr led a group of well-armed colonists toward New Orleans, prompting an immediate U.S. investigation. General Wilkinson, in an effort to save himself, turned against Burr and sent dispatches to Washington accusing Burr of treason. In February 1807, Burr was arrested in Louisiana for treason and sent to Virginia to be tried in a U.S. court. In September, he was acquitted on a technicality. Nevertheless, public opinion condemned him as a traitor, and he fled to Europe. He later returned to private life in New York, the murder charges against him forgotten. He died in 1836. Anger clouds your future, as Aaron Burr discovered when years of simmering insults finally exploded into a duel that shattered his brilliant career in one reckless morning. A single hot-headed decision fueled by rage proved that no title or past glory can shield you from the consequences of losing control. Cool down before you act, because the storm inside your head can destroy everything you've built outside it. Words can kill, even if bullets don't. Alexander Hamilton's relentless public attacks on Burr's character didn't just wound pride, they ignited a fatal chain of events. Sharp tongues start wars that kind hearts must later mourn. Speak with care, knowing that every cruel remark is a spark in a dry forest of human feelings. Pride is a bad boss. Both men valued honor above life, family, and common sense, marching to a cliff because stepping back felt like defeat. They ignored every chance for peace, proving that ego is a tyrant that demands blood for its throne. Swallow pride, save your life, and the lives tied to yours. Choose friends, not just allies. Burr placed his fate in the hands of General Wilkinson, a man who betrayed him the moment self-preservation called. Real trust is rare and precious. Fake allies scatter like smoke when trouble knocks. Build bonds that hold, not partnerships that break. One mistake can erase a lifetime of good. Burr was a war hero, a senator, vice president, yet one duel and one desperate scheme branded him traitor forever. Protect your name like gold, because reputation is fragile glass. 1,000 careful steps can't undo one careless fall. Power without purpose is poison. Bitter after losing the governorship, Burr chased an empire not to lead but to revenge. Ambition untethered from meaning becomes a wildfire that burns the wielder first. Use power to build, not to settle scores. Laws have loopholes, but people don't forgive. Burr walked free from court, but America never absolved him. Legal, not guilty, is cold comfort when public memory brands you guilty in ink and song. True justice lives in hearts, not just courtrooms. Jealousy is a slow fire. Hamilton saw Burr as a mirror of his own talent and feared the reflection. That fear fed hate, blocking Burr at every turn. Celebrate others' wins. It frees your soul from the chains of comparison. Family pays for your sins. Hamilton left a widow and 7 children to grieve. Burr lost respect, legacy, and the right to walk proudly among men. Before you act, ask, how will this hurt the people I love? Their tears outlast your triumphs. History remembers the story, not the excuse. Burr claimed injustice. Hamilton swore he fired into the air. Neither plea matters. Both are immortalized by the duel on the cliffs of Weehawken.